Sports media is low key ruining basketball. And I say that with a grain of salt because sports media is going to come with the game regardless. But right now in the NBA, we're experiencing something we haven't experienced in the modern day sports world. Okay. And I'm talking about basketball specifically here, but we're seeing a level of parity or even level playing field that we haven't seen in a while. Okay, so hear me out. We went into this season now expecting the Lakers to win it all because of their roster upgrades, because we went just off of names. But we're in an NBA right now you need names and fit. So a lot of people aren't taking into consideration that teams are being built, players are getting better, and we're entering towards a newer NBA. Like for a while, I've been saying the younger generation is here. Like players like Devin Booker, he's been in the league since what, 2014, 2015? Like he's not a kid no more. Like these players are grown and they're developing their skill sets. Like Jason Tatum too. Jason Tatum was drafted in 2017, 2018. I can't remember the year. But he's been in the league for a while. He's earned his stripes. These guys are here to play some basketball. It's not no more, oh, these guys are young, these guys are young. Like, they're coming for the older generation spots. And I feel like people don't understand that. And this is the part that sports media is killing the game because we look at a lot of headlines and we use a lot of narratives to try and paint a picture when it comes to basketball. And narratives play a role into it, yes, but at the same time, it's all about who could put the ball in the hoop. And especially now that a lot of our favorite players are aging out of the game and there's new players to take their spots, I feel like it's hitting people harder than we imagined. Okay, so in the case of, I hate to say it because people always want to make me out to be a hater, but it's really not hating. I'm an avid basketball watcher. Like in the case of LeBron James, this season right now it is historic in the sense that we haven't seen a player play at this level at 37, but it's getting really, really overrated to the casual viewer. And I say casual viewer lightly because you could tell when you have these conversations with people who actually watches basketball and who just has a favorite player and has a set opinion. Because this season, if you're telling me LeBron is the best player in the NBA, I know you're not watching. I know you're not. And the stats, they look good, but other than LeBron James, when has the best team in the NBA or the best player in the NBA be on the 10th seed this late into the season? Now, I understand the Lakers have not been playing up to par. There's been injuries. I get it, but it just doesn't make sense. Like, I've really been sitting here this whole season. I'm like, this is the worst, most talked about team I've ever heard. Like, there's teams equally as bad that don't get this much press. And it just simply based off LeBron James' name alone. And a lot of people, they'll sit and they'll make stories on how the narrative fits. And then people will just take that and run with it. So in the case of LeBron, like, honestly, he's been riding media hype for about 2 years now, if I'm being honest. Because 2020, they came off hot, won a championship. Wow. I respect it. LeBron, if you wanted to say he was the best player in the NBA, I can't really disagree with you at that point. He just won a championship. But then we go into 2021. Now, this was an interesting season to say the least. But we saw a lot of things. And the Lakers were the 7th seed going into the playoffs. And now, everyone had their struggles with everything going on, injuries, et cetera, et cetera. But they were still the 7th seed. And I saw a chink in the armor. This is the first time I've ever seen this from LeBron. Like I saw him walk back on defense. And I was like, yeah, this isn't the same LeBron that I grew up off of. Now, when I was younger, I was a big LeBron fan. Like, that was my favorite player. That's all I knew because the media just spewed out LeBron James, and he was the face of basketball at the point. And I liked basketball. I was never necessarily the best, but I enjoyed watching basketball. And LeBron James was basketball for me. So I grew up watching LeBron, and for a while, I think about till my sophomore year. No, actually no, till about I would say my freshman year in college. I thought LeBron was the GOAT because, I fed into the hype. People told me, oh yeah, the NBA wasn't as skilled back then. I mean, to a degree, that's true. I will admit that. But people used to tell me, oh, LeBron's bigger, stronger than Jordan. He could do more, da 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 da, this, that, and the third. But then you can, like, there's only so many excuses you can make for somebody. I realized that as I got older. A lot of times where something doesn't go right for LeBron, there's always an excuse behind it. And there's always a media cover up. So it's like, when do the excuses end? Because every time LeBron does well, it's, oh, he's doing this, he's carrying all that, da, 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 da. But when he fails, it's, oh, people aren't helping him. He has no help, he has no help, he has no help. But at what point do we just stop applying that to LeBron? Because if I'm being honest, I could apply that logic to a lot of other players. And it's just what it is. And they're not as sanctioned as LeBron, so it doesn't hold the same weight. But you look at a player like Trae Young and LeBron James, I think they're pretty relative this season. And I got a lot of flack for that when I said that. But if you look at it at face value, you look at their scoring output, you look at their assist numbers, you look at their team success, they're pretty relative. And it's just that the name LeBron is so luxurious. It's like people held onto that household name and they just think LeBron is what he was in his prime. And like, it's like, and the thing is, it's hard to, if you don't actually watch the game, it's hard to tell people that LeBron is not the same player he used to be. And it's like, I don't want to be the guy to have to necessarily sit there and belittle what LeBron's doing, because I, for one, can appreciate good basketball when I watch it. So what LeBron's doing this season is great. I love it. Like, more power to him. I enjoy the fact that he's 37, still putting up 30 a game. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. But at the same time, there's other players who deserve some love too. Like, I just made a video on my TikTok talking about how Giannis is disrespected. It's like when LeBron won his, like, before even LeBron even won his first ring, people were putting him in the GOAT debate. And Giannis now, at the age of 27, is a 2-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, 3-time first team All-NBA. Like, he's doing everything he needs to do. Oh, I forgot to mention, he won the finals and a finals MVP. He's doing everything he's supposed to do, but it's not the prettiest game that people have seen. And then the media just credits him. So what do people that don't actually watch the game do? They just follow like sheep. They just say, oh, run and dunk man. Like, are we serious? Are we really going to disrespect Giannis Antetokounmpo like that? Like, he didn't work this hard for people to sit there and just discredit him. I just think it's unfair. And then you have a player such as LeBron James who, if you erased LeBron James' name from the stat book and just put a random name there, it wouldn't get the same attention that they get doing 30 points per game in their 10th seed. And that's all I'm trying to get at. I'm just trying to get at the fact that we need to look at basketball a little more objectively. Like, just take stuff for what it is, because I'm tired of having these same conversations all the time. Like, why can't we just appreciate the fact that there's actual competition in the NBA now? Like, you really can make a debate for who's really the best player in the NBA. Like, for a while, it was literally LeBron. Every year, he's the best player in the NBA. Like, you knew he was going to the finals. Like, it was just to the point where it's like, I don't even have to watch regular season, because I know at the end of the season, whatever team LeBron is on, he's going to the finals. This NBA season right now has been the most exciting NBA season I've ever seen in my life. All the storylines going on. You're seeing so many people play because of all the COVID things, injuries, and you're seeing people, new faces, old faces, people getting a chance, and it's just so interesting. And it's kind of hard for everyone to appreciate the basketball when everything being pitched is LeBron related. And I just want people to open up their mind and allow things to come more organically. Like, it doesn't have to just be stuff you read. Like, actually enjoy the game of basketball. But I think also another thing too with sports media is it's become too easy to have a voice on a platform. Because the way that social media is advanced, a lot of people can make their own sports related content. Before, back then, it was really just stuff you saw on TV. And as years went on, there were more like content creators, but it wasn't as widely like, or I'm gonna cut this part out. But it wasn't as easy as it is now to make sports content. So you have the trickle down effect here. You have people who just preach LeBron praise, and then all they know is LeBron. And then after that, they go and find stats that support his case, and then it just trickles down. Like, a lot of people don't want to have a conversation on who's better this season. And I find that absolutely ridiculous, because why do I care about what people have done in past seasons and it's a new season now? Now, I do understand old seasons show you what a player is capable of. But if a player is showcasing to you right now that he's like that, we have to look at that and say, wow, he's like that. And I just think the art of that is gone. Like, you have the Suns Twitter page posting out MVP nods to their players. Like, I think that's ridiculous that it had to get to that point, because a lot of people don't give Devin Booker his credit. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and act like Devin Booker's an MVP candidate, because I don't agree with that. But he's been very good this season, and the fact that he won't get a nod is kind of crazy, because we don't talk about the Suns enough. The Suns have been scorching this season. They have been doing everything they're supposed to do. Like, why is winning not important in basketball anymore? Like, it's just like, that's what I'm talking about. It's just what the media wants you to see, because who doesn't want to win a championship? Like, the steps to getting there is having the best record. More times than not, the first seed is going to go pretty far in the tournament. So you should be aiming for that first seed. A lot of people are talking about if the Lakers if the Lakers make the play-in and they get the 8th spot and they go against the Suns, they will beat them. I just feel like that is too comfortable. Like, why? Mind you, this is the same Suns team that beat the Lakers last season, but it's just too comfortable. Like, when do we go into a series expecting a 8th seed to beat a first seed, and it's like before LeBron James? Like, it's not a common thing. When the We Believe Warriors beat the Mavericks in the first round, that was something that was unprecedented. We weren't expecting the 8th seed to win. So why now that LeBron James' name is attached to something, we're gonna go into a series believing that they're gonna beat the Suns so easily? Now, I'm not saying it's not possible, but what I'm saying is they shouldn't be. The Lakers shouldn't be a favorite in that series. It's just ridiculous to me, and all that comes from the media being pitched at us. Like, you look at all these talk shows, ESPN, whether it be First Take or Undisputed, they're talking about the Lakers every day. Why? Because of LeBron James. Because of sports media. A lot of people go to what attracts more people. And I understand the NBA is a market, it's a business, but I feel like we're in a perfect era right now, actually. Now is the best time to get into basketball, because it's an even playing field and we don't know where the season is going to take us. There's a lot of things that can happen this postseason, and we're going to see a lot of narratives that have been built in the season get put to the test. And now you can claim your side and watch it all unfold. This is the purest form of basketball. It's beautiful right now. There's not someone who is the overwhelming favorite. No one can stop him. Like, every team is beautiful right now. And you can see flaws with every team. In basketball, it's at its prettiest state right now. I think we should appreciate it for what it is. I think it should be something heavily pushed next season where it's all about finding what you like, okay? Not what people throw in your face. I honestly believe that the media is like this is because they force feed us LeBron. Now, nothing is wrong with liking LeBron. Don't twist my words. Don't get it confused. And there's nothing wrong with liking LeBron. It just, you have to be able to put aside your favorite player from what's actually going on, okay? And I'm going to give you a little story on my past and how I've come to terms with things, because I've grown and I've learned that basketball is a lot deeper than just what's your favorite. There's a lot more to it. So when I was younger, I became a Clippers fan around, I would say, 2014-2015 season, right after LeBron had left the Heat. Because as I mentioned earlier, LeBron was my favorite player up until then, but then he just kept bouncing around teams, and I was like, I don't know. I feel like I can't just be traveling and following LeBron wherever he goes. So, I mean, he always gonna have a spot on my favorite players because he got me into basketball, but I was like, let me just, find a home to settle in there. And then at the time, I liked Chris Paul too, so I became a Clippers fan. And since then, I've been a Clippers fan. And I remember I would argue up and down, even though I'm watching Steph Curry win awards, I'm watching him fry us. I would argue up and down that Chris Paul is a better player than Steph Curry because of advanced numbers and this, that, and the third. And I was trying to create a narrative to make it seem like it was a plausible idea. But now I've grown from that. I'm sitting here looking back. There's not really a case for Steph Curry and for Chris Paul over Steph Curry. It's not. Like, yeah, Chris Paul has his IQ. He's a great player. He's gonna be an all-time great forever. But the way that Steph Curry played the game, it just was simply better than what Chris Paul could do. Yeah, Chris Paul was a better defender. Yeah, he could pass the ball better. Yeah, he was a better floor general. But Steph Curry's three-point shot, it trumped it. Like, feel me? Like, it's not even like we didn't get packed by the Warriors. Like, Steph Curry has a whole highlight reel on Chris Paul. And it's just like, all right, well, it is what it is. And there's nothing wrong with Steph Curry being better than Chris Paul, because at the end of the day, Chris Paul is still my favorite point guard. He's still my favorite player. Like, of all time, Chris Paul is still my favorite player. Even though I don't talk about him as much anymore because I've seen more attractive things to watch. Younger players, younger talent. He's always going to be one of my OGs because that's just who I grew up off. That's who I enjoyed. And I'm okay with putting younger people over him because they show me that they're here. And I feel like it should be the same way with LeBron. Like, yeah, LeBron, he's going to be in our hearts forever. Okay? We can appreciate what LeBron is doing this season, but we don't have to overrate him. We could keep him in the realm. I mean, I don't think, when I say LeBron's not the best player in the NBA, I don't think he's 50. I think he's like, I'll say he's right outside the top 5. You could make the argument he's top 5, but he's around that area. But I know that he's not the best player in the NBA anymore. And that's totally fine. Like, we can enjoy basketball watching our favorite players and watching the growth of the game. I just think that, I don't know, this is kind of a video all over the place. I'm just getting my ideas off, expressing my inner thoughts, but I just want better for the NBA community. It's kind of hard to have basketball conversations because it just gets so toxic, because people think when you bring up a point on why another player is better, then you're just hating on their favorite player, or you're hating on the player they're defending. Like, it's not necessarily just hating, it's the competitiveness to it. Like, you don't have to be the best all the time. It's okay to lose. Like, I don't know. I really just want better for us. I want more diversity. I want more people to have their own favorite players. I want people to have their own reasoning. I want people to just read stuff they see on Twitter and run with it. I want people to watch basketball, enjoy the game, and make it inclusive again. You know, just love. I like talking about basketball. I love talking about basketball, and I just like when it's okay to have a little bias too. Like, I'm not even saying you can't have bias. I just want it to be more objective and more people are okay with being proved wrong, or people can admit defeat when they're having these conversations. I just want everything to be, I don't want it to be peach and rosy or anything. I just want people to have their own opinions, you know? When they say something to me, I want them to truly believe it, truly understand it, you know? I don't want it to just be something they read off the internet and just ran with it because they don't actually know what they're talking about, you know? And it's okay to be a casual fan of basketball. It is. But I guarantee though, if you watch more basketball, you'll enjoy it a lot more. And you'll be able to really see what people are talking about, you know? But yeah, that's all I got for today. But subscribe and join me on this basketball journey.